They are exporting vegetables. And we learned a lot from them. And the Eritreans are very hard-working people. Secondly, we have gold, abundant gold. Above all, though, if you have a very active, work ethic people, that is the best wealth. So we will do it, don't worry.
We have a question from the middle. Yes? Yes, you.
Back to Professor Bronson's question, in regards to Ethiopia defaulting on their agreement with Eritrea, what was the UN's response? What was the UN's response to your cries for justice in that case?
Well, in fact, if you have seen in the PowerPoint that I showed up in here, during the signing of the agreement, the final and binding agreement, or what we call the Algiers Agreement, Kofi Annan himself was there as a guarantor and as a witness. Madeleine Albright was there. Senator Seri from representing the European Union was there. President Bouteflika, President Obasanjo, Dr. Salim Ahmed Salim from OAU were there as guarantors and as witnesses. And it is because of this that the issue has been brought to the United Nations Security Council. Every 6 months, they talk about that. They pass resolutions asking Ethiopia to accept unequivocally and without any preconditions to accept the final and binding decision. But it's not implemented. This is our problem. We always remind the members of the Security Council, we remind the Secretary General, we remind the Secretariat, but nothing comes. So we'll see what will happen in the future.
What is occupying the region, the Badme region, where the Ethiopians had expelled your countrymen? Who is there now?
In that place which I mentioned, they displaced the people who stayed there for centuries.
Yes.
That is now in the hands of the Ethiopians. And that is our territory, sovereign territory. And that is the reason at the end of my speech, I said our sovereign territory, which is under Ethiopia, will not remain forever in their hands.
Yes, in the middle, please.
All I know about Eritrea is what I can read in newspapers. So please correct me if I'm wrong, but in my understanding, Eritrea grants very little freedoms to their people. So how could you possibly seek international freedom if you don't grant it to your own people? Women, for example.
Well, what's freedom? What's freedom? When we talk about freedom, freedom of religion, democracy, you mention anything. From where do you start? You should have a reference. Who these journalists, these media people, when they are talking or writing something, well, with whom are they relating Eritrea? With the United States? With Canada? With Sweden? Norway? Who has been 200, 300 years independent? They worked very hard. These people worked very hard and have reached this stage of democracy, this stage of freedom, this stage of development. Give us time. Definitely we'll reach there. That's our goal. We fought for 30 years. What for? For justice, for democracy, for development, and to get rid of injustice. But we are at times meet with problems, difficult problems. And these problems are not Ethiopian problems only. They are coming, pushed through some big powers. For what reason? For their own interest. And therefore we have a big problem. But definitely we want our people to have freedom, and they have freedom. I have been in Eritrea about in August. People walk to wherever they want. And in fact, a lot of people say, journalists have written, that Eritrea is the only peaceful country that it can move even during nights. Women freely can move without any consequences. There are some other problems which we seriously look after. And this is a question of national security. We are a small country. We are a new country. And if there are some people who would like to overthrow our government or decolonize us again, as the Ethiopians have done in 1998, we will not accept. So we would like to seriously be attentive to this, and certain strings are strong. So this could be the reason.
Question from there, yes.
Outside domestic affairs, what does Eritrea plan to do about the AIDS pandemic? And also, I'm reading here, there's only one currently officially recognized political party. How do you plan to spread democracy and the voice of democracy within the nation?
Let me answer your first question on HIV/AIDS, I think. Well, we were one of the countries which we have been very serious on HIV/AIDS. There are different methods of education that we are doing into the youth in particular. Right from the school, we seriously teach everybody that they have to use condoms, that they have to take care of this issue, that it is the worst disease on earth. And in the countryside, we use the National Union of Eritrean Women, the National Union of Eritrean Youth, the village assemblies also continuously do a lot of education. And with the help of World Bank, we have received some amount of money to buy medicine for HIV/AIDS, and we are treating those who have been affected already. And in fact, this time, it has gone from 3.5% to 2.4%. The second question you asked,
There's only one officially recognized political party in the nation of Eritrea. How do you plan to spread democracy and
very good.
multiple parties within the nation?
No problem. Right after independence, the first thing we did was to have a referendum. 2 years. It took us 2 years to have a referendum in Eritrea. Then we had to draft a constitution. This is a new country with no constitution. We didn't want to import a constitution from London or Paris. We wanted to refer those constitutions, definitely, but integrate them with our own traditional rules and traditional cultures. And then it took us a long time, about 4 years. 3 years, I think, from 1994 to 1997. And the Constitution was ratified by 527 ratifying constituency. And then in 1998, we were planning to have an election, national election, with different parties to come. And therefore, we drafted a multi-party